future. We're talking real money.
The great debate in the financial services industry. Active versus passive. I'm going to put reverb on that because there are many. For most of the history of the mutual fund industry and the money management industry, it has been believed that active funds are superior in every way to just owning the dull, boring market, which people have referred to as either the Dow or the S&P 500 most of the time.
Neither of which is the best way to go, but sure.
Well, but that was all based on limited data and a lot of anecdotes as opposed to evidence. Then, when people actually started studying the anecdotes, they found the truth that a degree of passivity or indexing, straight indexing, is better than active management in most cases.
Has been.
Yeah, everything, whenever we say is, we mean has been.
Yeah, it pretty much has to.
It has to, because nothing actually, and this is going to get a little philosophic, but there is no is.
Basically not.
There is only was or will be.
Mm-hmm.
And the was we know, the will be we don't.
I still love that from Retire Meet a few years ago, where that guy was berating us about, I think it was about gold or something.
I think it was because he was certain that the economy of the U.S. was going to collapse.
Here's what's got to happen. And you said,
he said it's got to happen.
I know he does. I still, and you got up in a very brave and bold fashion. Well, that's Don typical, but you got up and said, sir, you don't think it's going to happen one moment after I say these words right now. No idea. And it kind of shut him up because that's the truth, right?
You have no idea. So the only thing you can do is rely on the evidence of the past and hope for the best in the future. Yet the debate rages on. And the other thing about the debate, Tom, that really bothers me is the fact that a lot of groups like DFA and Avantis now insist on calling themselves active managers when the active we're talking about is stock pickers and market timers and those who are trying to find fundamental value or technical squiggly lines on which to make their decisions.
It's bad because I feel it's bad branding. It's like saying, I'm a smoker. Nobody will admit that.
But I'm not smoking tobacco.
Not tobacco.
I'm smoking cloves.
It's whatever it is. So there was recently a conference in the United Kingdom that Morningstar put on. Morningstar is an organization that kind of looks at the whole industry, provides information on that. In fact, I've been looking at a few funds this morning on Morningstar. And the question that came out of this, the article that they wrote, the interviews that were part of this, said, does the future belong to active or passive investing or both? And then it said Morningstar doesn't have a corporate party line.
But there's a reason likely why they don't have a corporate party line.
Guess. Why?
I noticed that when I look up an American fund, for example, the whole page turns into a giant advertisement for American funds.
They make their money selling ads to the people whose funds they're analyzing.
Mm-hmm.
Really? That's a potential conflict of interest.
Conflicts of interest abound.
Yes, they do. And so they have all these people that and I'm not going to go through them all, and you can find this online, I'm sure, if you want to read it. One of whom they quote and said, I'm not naive enough to say you should only take one side. And then another one said, well, wait, only 30% of active equity managers succeeded in outperforming their passive peers in Europe. And then they also talk about how, and this is the part that I think is very interesting. They don't mention this, but I happen to know this because when I really got going in the industry, there was about $1 out of $20 invested in index or index-like products. It was a very small number. Yeah. Today in the United States, they claim now that it's about 50-50, half in index or passive, if you will, and half in active. So, and then they quote another woman said that we talk with our clients about having a passive core with an active satellite. I'm like,
what in the heck is an active satellite?
That means the ones going around, I guess you're taking active managers. And then another person says, well, we use some in the short term. We find those hot managers. And then, and then somebody at Morningstar says, there are things you can do, including using our ratings to improve your chances of outperformance.
Oh, yeah.
Which is fascinating because if you remember, there was a study 10 or 15 years ago that found that their star system had no...
Wait, do you know who did the study about their star system?
I think they did it themselves.
They did it themselves. And they said the best indicator of future potential is expenses.
Yeah. Not 4 stars, whatever it is. It made no sense. So then the moderator tried to summarize this and say, I'm hearing 2 trends here. The first is that active management is firmly entrenched in market segment and is not going anywhere. The other is, and here's the important part, I think, for our discussion, the lines between active and passive management are often blurred. It's hard to tell the difference in many cases because you mentioned dimensional funds from time to time. You mentioned Avantis investors. They would call themselves active investors. They don't want to be just put in the pure indexing. We're not adherent to what the S&P 500 is holding.
Yeah, which bothers me because that's why I want a new category. And what we've tried, and we've been trying this for several years, is the middle category is called evidence-based. And I want you to understand the difference because evidence-based funds do not go out and try to make predictions. They choose the stocks that meet their academic criteria and put them in the portfolio for whatever the rules state, the period they state they should be there. As long as they meet certain criteria, they stay based on X, Y, and Z. It is a complicated program.
It is. Yeah.
But it is not hunch-based or individual security research based.
And this is I think that's where the rubber meets the road. And if I was out looking for an advisor or trying to decide on an approach, I would not use the one that this person mentioned. He says 40% of our book of business is in passive strategies, 25% is in active, and 25% is in a blend of the two. Now, I looked him up. Turns out he's a registered Republican, he's a registered Democrat, and a registered Libertarian. I mean, that's what he's telling me. It's just like, I don't believe anything. Whatever way the wind blows, I'll take that fund, I'll take this fund. You've got to know what you believe.
You told me not to bring politics into this.
Okay, I thought that was too easy. That. I know. So, well, you mentioned my above ground pool, so I felt like you might have it coming.
Okay. So we call it the WTP. You'll figure it out.
No, it's not hard. That drives me crazy. It just tells me you don't believe anything. That's like,
and
I don't.
Let's talk about the evidence. Okay. I love quoting Standard & Poor's because all Standard & Poor's does, their job is just to crunch numbers. That's all they do. They just are number crunchers. Really. They create indices, but they're number crunchers. It fits this index. It doesn't fit that index. Every 6 months, 2 times a year.
Yep.
They go through the entire universe of mutual funds, all of them, everyone, and they calculate how many funds underperformed. That's the key word in these numbers. The index, whatever the index might be. For example, for the large cap, they use the S&P 500. And then they look at actively managed funds that are in that same category, large cap.
Fishing from that same ocean.
Exactly. Now, here's what is really interesting. Over the past year, and I don't know what the date is on this. I don't remember when they did their last one. I think it was over the summer. Over that previous year, this is a number I had never seen in all the years I've been looking at SPIVA.
Which is?
11%. Only 11% of actively managed funds underperformed the S&P 500 over that 1 year.
Only 11 underperformed or outperformed?
Underperformed.
And you're going to need to say what SPIVA is
so
because people don't know.
Standard & Poor's indexing versus active.
Okay.
It's
SPIVA. Got it.
SPIVA. SPIVA. You can go look it up online.
89% outperformed?
Exactly. Over 1 year. Okay, that's the year. Now, that's what all of these people who say, active's working again. They're using that 1 year.
Of course.
On which to base that sales decision or that purchase decision. However, let's go out a little longer, shall we? Let's go out to just a mere 3 years. Was it 3 or? Yeah, 3 years. 3 years.
Yeah. So we had 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
78% underperformed over 3 years.
So they did so well that 1 year they took the next 2 years off, apparently.
Yeah. Over 5 years, 78% underperformed. Over 10 years, 85% underperformed. And get this.
Yeah.
Over 15 years.
15 long years.
Over 15 years, 96.3% underperformed the index. So what are the odds that over that 15-year period, you picked the 3 point, I got to find the number again. I misplaced it. Oh, I'm sorry. It was 96.97. I was looking at the wrong line. So it's 97%. What are the odds you, over that entire 15-year period, picked the lousy little 3% that outperformed over that period? And based on that, I think you can kind of extrapolate out from that and go, gosh, if I held it for 20 years, the odds are looking even worse, aren't they?
Remember, you got to pick it in advance.
Right.
You don't get to wait.
You don't get to look back and go, I just want those 3% that won.
That's why I found that to be a joke when the active man, I just find the short-term success. Yeah.
89 right now, if you could have picked from the 89% that won.
Sure. Yeah.
But over 15, that 89% is going to be, if past is prologue, it's going to be whittled down to about 3%.
And that is troubling. And if that's not enough, one of the conclusions they arrived at this conference was, they said there are two observations that are quite obvious. One is that the value premium, owning more value-oriented stocks, has not worked. Growth stocks have outperformed for the last 10 years. No question. I'm going to agree with that. And that smaller companies have underperformed for the last 10 years as well. But here's my issue with that. When you publicize that, what does that make people want to do? They want to say, oh, you're right. I'm going to take everything out of small and value and move it over to large growth. We can show you, looking back over long periods of time, that is a very bad market timing decision that usually results in underperformance.
It's been terrible. Oh, and by the way, just to clarify for all the people who listen to the podcast and go, don't say that, don't say that. I am referring to the comparison is not to the S&P 500. It is to what the slice that S&P takes out called the S&P 500 Growth Index. The growth numbers I was talking about, it's only the growth side of the S&P 500 that they're comparing with.
So, and here's the thing. Now you're sitting at home in your car, walking your dog, working on your garden, whatever you do while you listen to our podcast. Thank you for that. Trying to figure out, so that's great, very theoretical, but how do I pick funds? Because that at the end of the, this is, do I go passive? I think one thing you got to do is trust ethical organizations. Now, I would include on that list Dimensional funds, Avantis funds, and Vanguard. And I guess BlackRock Fidelity would be in there too.
Yeah,
Fidelity.
The iShares stuff.
Yeah, I think those are ethical. I think you're going to get what you're paying for there. Number two, I would only use academic-based white paper peer-reviewed work. That's it. I would not trust anybody who came along with an idea and said, I found it. This is the way to go. I trust things that have that review, have a look at by their peers, that kind of thing. And here's one I would never use. And they talk about this in the conference a bit. Thematic funds, which you're getting ready to see the issue of the greatest thematic fund perhaps in history, the spot Bitcoin price fund, which I expect will be allowed to trade any day now. But I see people rushing into ideas, not asset classes. I would avoid that like the plague. Absolutely. No question.
Oh, one other just for fun. This is just fun. You know, the alternative investment products, the loan participation things.
Yeah, right.
It's the lend, whatever. Over 15 years, Do you know how many of those outperformed their benchmark?
How many?
0.
Not one. So
Not
just
one.
owning the index there made more sense.
Owning the index in every case made more sense. The only area I could find where active management showed some potential was in global income. Global income funds have, in the last year, outperformed 75% of the time. Over 15 years, they outperformed 42% of the time.
Wow. Okay.
But still they lose. Even in the best category, they still lose to the index.
Yeah, okay. Didn't work.
So do you see why we say you don't want active funds? If you have active funds in your portfolio, then you're playing a fool's game. It may be working for you now, but watch out down the road.
Okay, so then are dimensional funds active? Are Avantis funds active?
No, they're in that middle category. It is not black and white. Life is
them on the show,
gray.
they're gonna say they're active.
I know we've had them on the show when they said they're active.
There you go.
And I said that's a terrible name.
And you can see why people then are so confused, because it's confusing.
DFA and Avantis, invent a new word.
There you go. They got all kinds of people there that can do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they have scientists.
I've been to their building in Austin.
They have Nobel Prize winners. Go to Gene Fama.
He'll come up.
Come on, he's got this big old brain. Go to Gene and go, Gene, what's between active and passive? We need that. We need a name. He'll go, oh, my Nobel Prize winning brain. No, I'm making him sound German.
Henry Kissinger or something?
Henry
Come on.
Kissinger, my Nobel Prize. Did Henry Kissinger win? Yeah, he won a Nobel Prize. My Nobel Prize winning brain.
Yeah. All right. We got little time, but we're going to throw a couple questions at him. This comes from Michael in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
It makes total sense that Warren Buffett, Jamie Dimon, and the like are against Bitcoin. Bitcoin is very disruptive to the very centralized fiat system that has made them so profitable. If I were them, I would want Bitcoin banned as well. Can you explain in strictly objective terms, not with statements like it has no value, why you are against Bitcoin? There's now over 14 years of documented growth with significant short-term volatility, resulting in Bitcoin being the best performing asset bar none. The worldwide adoption continues at a significant rate. Do you have any objective reasons to be against Bitcoin, sir?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Well, one, it's the best performing asset depending on from the point from which you measure it. If you measure it from 21, or when did it hit 67? Was that 22 or 21? It's 21.
21, I think, yeah.
Then it's a terrible asset. It is an incredibly volatile asset. That is totally objective. It may very well be the most volatile asset ever. I mean, it's volatile. It's all over the place. But my objective distaste for it, dislike, lies in the securitization of it. Almost every asset you can come up with, including your fiat currencies, a fiat currency, like a fiat car, it has something behind it. A fiat car has an engine and a metal body, and, it has true tangible value.
They can tax to pay the whatever for the fiat.
Yeah, fiat currency is backed by the full faith and credit of the issuing government. And that government has almost unlimited taxing authority and assets. The United States government owns trillions and trillions of dollars of hard assets. Bureau of Land Management, National Forests, National Park Service.
Don't they have the Ark of the Covenant locked up in some?
The Ark of the Covenant in that big vault. That was on. Yeah. I saw it in a movie.
Yeah.
The U.S. government has tangible assets backing its currencies, along with taxation. What securitization does Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency have? It is electrons. Electrons are not tangible. It is whatever the other person says it is. If everything fell apart, the entire economy fell apart, your dollar is going to be worthless completely if the U.S. economy collapses. and your Bitcoin is going to be worthless. So what's the difference? The Bitcoin if times are good or times are reasonable, the Bitcoin has no reason for existing. It accomplishes nothing. That's the other part of it. In addition to the securitization, what is it good for?
I think you can buy anything you like in El Salvador.
Yeah, maybe.
Pay your rent.
It. What is it good for?
No, I'm with you. I'm teasing you, but the thing that you mentioned that I think is very important.
The Fiat's come. I heard the Fiat horn.
That's the submarine down dive.
Oh.
I think the thing that you mentioned that to me is the most important is it is a pure speculation. There's nothing else to it other than that. You think it's worth more than I do, then pay more. All right, good answer. This one comes from Lon in beautiful Fox Island, Washington, near Tacoma. My mother-in-law is 86 and vibrant. She will probably live to 100. She recently moved into a retirement home, independent living. Between her Social Security and her survivor pension, all of her bills are paid. She has an annuity and a few other investments that afford her travel when she wants. Good for her. Her home is paid off. She'll be selling it this spring. She never is going to need it. So they're looking to invest this for a larger inheritance for her kids and grandkids. I'm asking roughly how she should invest the money.
You can't ask roughly how she should invest the money because, again, any suggestion on investing money has to be based on a plan. Always the plan. The plan must come first. Who's going to get this money? What's it going to be used for? What will it be? For example, you could say, it's going to go to the kids and grandkids, but it may be that there's a kid that's going to really need it and need it to be liquid.
Good point.
So you wouldn't want to be aggressive with it. It may turn out, surprises happen.
Indeed, they do.
With older people, with younger people. Surprises happen to people. Something could happen in her life that her income streams will not cover, and you could put that in some illiquid investments, or you could put it in liquid investments that are very volatile, like stocks, which might be good for the kids. But if mom needed it in a year, I don't know what the amount is, but, let's say it's $1 million, and she needs $1 million worth of incredibly expensive care. I'm not saying that's going to happen. And it's only worth $500,000 because the stock market went
trouble.
Down.
Yeah. I think so. That was your long-winded way of saying have a plan first, then decide on the investments.
Yes.
Okay. Just checking.
Yes, you got that right. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're a talk show guy. That's your job, is to fill a lot of open air. So,
yeah, have a plan.
I think in this case,
I just wanted to explain why.
You should meet with an advisor and get an idea. So, as Don said, the purpose of the money after your mother-in-law is gone.
And if you meet with anybody who answers that question, then you need to leave. Because if they don't start with the plan before they suggest a single solitary investment product, they are incompetent.
And sadly, it's probably 8 out of 10 people that would do that. That would just say, go ahead and put it in this.
Oh, aren't you being generous?
Well, it's the holidays. It's a perpetual season of hope.
I mean, I saw a study in 2015, I believe it was, that showed that 90%.
Okay. Well, we're only missing by 10. It's not that far. So, and by the way, 'tis the season to,
jolly.
Well, there's always that, but getting that plan ready, because before you know it, we're going to be flipping the calendar over and it's going to be 2024, which just pains me in some ways because I don't want to say what age I will be during 2024, but you got to have the plan. Don just mentioned to make any financial decision. You have to have a roadmap. You got to have this is what I'm trying to do. We help people here, and we do a lot of free stuff like analyzing your portfolio, talking with an advisor with no sales pressure, with no, you got to sign this by Tuesday nonsense that you hear a lot about in the industry. So easy to do that, to set that meeting up. Get something rolling here towards the end of the year. Go to Talking Real Money, click on Meet an Advisor. I think I got that right.
You did.
All right.
Yeah, so you have to keep reminding me that there's another year that's just coming, like right.
You're not a big guy on that, are you?
No, yeah. Well, because think about this. I just did the calculation. Like when the year rolls over,
yeah,
I am closer to 70 than 65.
Oh,
so but the only encouragement I do take, there's a little encouragement in the world. My favorite musician is Peter Gabriel, who was with Genesis.
Great musician, yeah.
And Peter Gabriel just put out a new album at 73.
How old is Carlos Santana?
I don't know, but this album sounds as good as anything he's ever done.
I think we're at the peak right now.
Very young. It's a very young feeling album, but although he does talk about death and getting old and creakiness and aches and pains.
Not creepiness, as long as that. Not that.
Well, not creepy. We did that in the last podcast.
True. Creepy, not creaky.
Creeping. So anyway, I feel better.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we're at the full, our powers are big, baby.
Oh, I know we're going over, but did I tell you? I didn't tell you this. I do my hobby, and it's truly my hobby. I used to act as a hobby, and I can't find any place to act, so I started voice acting as a hobby. And I got an audition request sent directly to me, and it was just for me. And I read it. The guy was very nice, and I read it, and he said, "This is for a virtual commemorative image." And I'm going, so I read the script. He wanted me to do a commercial for an NFT, a non-fungible token.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. And really? The pay was great.
Yeah, that's so 2020. Come on.
But you know what I did? I said I can't do it.
Don't want people to buy that product.
I said I am not gonna lend my voice to a crazy crypto product. I will not do it. I don't care what it.
You're not going to do politics either.
No. Well, I did one.
I know.
I did one.
I'm giving you a bad time.
Turns out the one political ad I did turned out to be the most famous political ad of 2023. Yeah,
I think it was.
It was the most famous political ad of 2023.
We're not going to say what it was, but
no, because
it
was. I didn't mean to do it.
Oh, they tricked you into saying something?
I didn't know for whom it was.
I see. Okay. That one, of all the spots you've done in your blankety blank number of years, that one elicited the most comments from people that knew the two of us that I ever saw.
Oh my gosh.
So crazy.
I mean, people were calling my wife going, "Is that your husband?
Why did he do that?
Why did he do that?"
Yeah, okay.
Although one of my voice coaches said, "I am telling everybody. I am just bragging on you.
I'm so proud, man. You're on the national news."
He goes, you made it. You just started a year ago. Good for you.
Yeah, let's not. So anyway, put that in the archives. I didn't
even put it on my website.
I think that's smart. Yeah,
it's smart, isn't it? All right. Thank you all for doing that thing you do, which is listen to us while we do this thing we do. I'm here in Florida, where it's 74 degrees. Tom's there in Seattle, where it's
cold.
And dark. Every day of the week, except for we will not have a Christmas podcast nor a New Year's Day podcast.
Oh, come on.
Did you want to put in some extra hours?
I don't.
I
didn't even want to do the show on the 23rd. Remember, you had to talk me into that.
We're doing the 23rd.
I just wanted to sit around and be lazy.
What are you going to do on the 23rd?
I don't know. I just didn't.
Honestly,
I didn't want to do anything. That was
between the 24th and the 25th. By the 26th, I'm like done.
I hear
it's like,
all right, fair enough.
Can I just go back to work, please? Which I'm going to do. Anyway, thanks for being there. I'm Don. That's Tom. We're talking real money.
The opinions and views expressed on this podcast were current on the date recorded. Opinions, estimates, forecasts, and statements of financial market trends that are based on current market conditions constitute our judgment and are subject to change without notice, including any forward-looking estimates or statements which are based on certain expectations and assumptions. Although information and opinions given have been obtained from or based on sources believed to be reliable, no warranty or representation is made as to their correctness, completeness, or accuracy. Information presented on the podcast is not personalized investment advice from Appella Wealth. The views and strategies described may not be suitable for everyone. This podcast does not identify all the risks, direct or indirect, or other considerations which might be material to you when entering any financial transaction. Past performance does not guarantee future results, and profitable results cannot be guaranteed. We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for informational, educational, and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. The podcast is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Apella Wealth, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Please see Apella Wealth's ADV Part 2A on our website for information regarding Apella's fees and services. Apella Capital, LLC, DBA Apella Wealth, is an investment advisory firm registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. The firm only transacts business in the states where it is properly registered or excluded or exempt from registration requirements. Registration with the SEC or any state securities authority does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Apella does not provide tax or legal advice, and nothing either stated or implied here should be inferred as providing such advice. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and important disclosure related to performance of any specific index or fund quoted in this podcast. And the lawyers get richer.